Let me see how I am looking online. Yes, I think it says I'm online, but it's always good to see, right? How you look online. Yes, it's saying I am online. Okay, looking good. So, good evening and welcome to Ask Me Anything with Aki. Today, I will be answering questions pertaining to our fear of failure. Right now, why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic because research also has said, and I may have said it in some of my previous posts or live talks, that uh, almost 50 to 60% of the people globally have fear of failure. So it is quite natural for us to talk about it. You go to any organization, you go to any school, any college, fear is something that has been a part and parcel of our life ever since we were born. Yes, you heard that right. Ever since we were born, because we are born with only two innate fears, right? And I think I've said this as well in the past. The two fears are fear of falling. That's fear of falling down as a baby, of course. And the second is fear of loud sounds. So you may have seen whenever there's a loud sound, the baby starts crying. It starts crying because of the fear of the loud sound. All other fears that we have, fear of say public speaking, fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of being rejected, all these fears are fears that we have adopted or absorbed from others. So we've kind of borrowed. Sorry, absorbed is the wrong word in this context. I would want to say that these fears are fears that we've perhaps borrowed it from people. So it's time for us to maybe just release it, right? Um, and as I said, it's a very natural emotion. So what I've done is I have curated a few questions, and most of these questions were sent to me by one of my coaches, who's also now a good friend. So thank you very much for sending those questions, and I've also added a few questions from my end. Why did I do that? I did that because right from my childhood, I too have been an anxious personality. I had a very high fear of failure. I still have, I would say. I wouldn't say I have overcome it, but I'm perhaps able to manage it. Right, and what matters is when you feel fearful, it is essential for you to connect to your fear. It is essential for you to express your fears, right? Because fear is such an emotion that we've been told right from the childhood, डरना नहीं. डरते क्यों हो? तुम एक लड़के हो, डरना नहीं चाहिए. तुम एक लड़की हो, डरो मत. अरे क्यों भाई? इंसान है. We are humans after all. It is fine to feel fearful. It is fine to have fear of failure. What is not fine, however, is to get consumed by the intensity of that fear. And that's what holds us back in life. और हम उसी के बारे में बात करेंगे कि how do you train your mind and what are the steps that you need to take to just let go this fear. And before I get into the questions, just yesterday or maybe on Monday, I think I was watching this movie called The Kingsman, uh, and I found one of their quotes on fear quite relevant, not just for this life talk, but for life in general. So, Polly, one of the characters, one of the pivotal characters in the film, is talking to a boss about fear. So she says fear is natural. The problem is that the more you fear something, the more likely it is to come true, and which is true. With fear of failure, with any fear, or with any emotion, we have millions of thoughts that are crossing our mind, that is probably holding us back, and these thoughts probably over exaggerate the situation, or rather push us to exaggerate the situation. So how do you train your mind, and how do you get rid of the failure? Well, first of all, you don't have to get rid of the failure. Boss, it is your failure. Those are your thoughts, those are your emotions, so you have to connect to those. So the first step, whenever you feel fearful, whenever you have a fear of failure, be it anything, be it any presentation or a meeting or an examination or anything that you may be doing, you will experience that fear, you will connect to that fear, right? Allow yourself to just be in that fear, and then understand that this fear is there, or the reason for this fear could be linked back to your early life experience or your adult life, whatever that may be, right? There may be some experience, or there may be some situation or certain messages given to you by, say, the people around you, which is what is making you fearful. So connect to those messages, understand and decode why are you feeling fearful in the first place. तो उस fear से आप connect करोगे, you will try and understand what is it that you need to address about this fear, right? So take for instance fear of public speaking. Fear of public speaking also, the base of that, or the root cause of fear of public speaking, is our fear of being judged. लोग क्या कहेंगे हमारे बारे में. That is the root cause of fear of failure. That is the root cause of fear of being judged, right? But most importantly ना, हमको डर उसी बात का लगता है कि चलो हम जाके प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे हैं, बट हमारा आउटकम क्या होगा, व्हाट विल बी आवर आउटकम. So the only way to train your mind, apart from connecting to your fear, is to tell your mind, teach your mind that the only thing that you can control is the content and the delivery, right? So I'm talking in context of the public speaking. So in whenever you're presenting, or if you're giving a speech, the only thing that is in your control is your content, your expertise, and your delivery. Now, the outcome of that talk is not in your control. And most of the times, we are only concerned about the outcome. Take, for instance, your fear of failure with respect to your exams, or with respect to your performance appraisal, right? It is कि बॉस, क्या इस साल मुझे इंक्रीमेंट मिलेगा? Will I get increment? What will be my performance rating? भूल जाओ यार, it's okay, and many companies are moving away from it, which is good. So what matters is your performance. So keep reminding yourself that the only thing that is in your control is your performance. So give your best shot, give your 100%. और अगर डर आता है फिर भी, तो उस डर से कनेक्ट हो जाओ, because there's something that you need to address, and you will be able to address it. Just focus on it, move ahead. So the only way to train your mind is to remind yourself that control आपके हाथ में है, सिर्फ आपके परफॉर्मेंस का, आपके डिलीवरी का. आउटकम इज नॉट इन योर हैंड्स, राइट? And you're not going to get rid of your fear. Fear आपका ही साथी है. You're going to embrace your fears. Okay, guys. So I think so. People who've been working with me, they've heard me say this millions of times, which is fear से भागना नहीं है. You are not supposed to run away from your fear. You're supposed to embrace your fear, right? Yeah. So that's about it. All right. So let's move with the first question. So people say that you learn from your failures. That's the question. I'm just reading it out. People say that you learn from your failures. I hate to fail, so please explain how can anyone learn from failures? That's a good question. Now, all those who are watching this video, if you have a similar question, how do you learn from failure? And if you hate to learn, if you hate to fail, then I would ask you to take a step back, breathe, and relax. Right? So allow yourself to be in that fear. So let me give you my own personal example. So while I was बड़ेडिंगे मार रहा था मैं public speaking के बारे में. So about a month ago, I received a mail from TEDx asking me to participate in one of the events as a speaker. So they just asked me to send in the application. So I sent in an application, um, and after I sent it, I had millions of thoughts. My fear had completely taken over. I was like, "Boss, I have never been on that stage. How will I ever? How will I be able to deliver? Right? I know the content, but कैसे deliver करूँगा? So वही हुआ. I started thinking about the outcome. I started giving more importance to the outcome. अभी तक उनका मैसेज आया भी नहीं है that you've been chosen as one of the speakers. So forget that. I mean, I'm not even. I didn't even think about it. I thought about मेरा outcome क्या होगा. So I stayed in that fear for about a week or so. You wouldn't say that the fear has completely gone. It's still there, but I'm able to manage it because I keep reminding myself that the only thing in my control is the content and my delivery. Now, if I freeze on the stage or if I get scared, it is okay. So I follow this speaker, and you guys may have heard of her, Dr. Brene Brown. She talks about something similar. What she says is it's fine to accept your vulnerability. So that is what I'm going to do. If I freeze there, I will accept that I have frozen, and I will still go ahead and give my talk. So going back to this question, how will you learn from your failures? Well, the first thing is you need to allow yourself to fail. It is okay to fail. तो मैं जब freeze हो जाऊंगा stage पे, I am allowing myself to fail. What will I learn? I will learn that not letting the fear control the mind, not letting the fear control the situation. My mind is capable enough to allow me to take charge of the situation and allow me to present it well. So that will be my most important learning, which is to give importance to my delivery and importance to my content, and most importantly, giving importance to the people who have come there, who have invested their time, right? So here, so you need to connect to your fears, you need to decode your fears, and you need to allow yourself to fail. Failure में कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. And I understand, many of us have this question because बचपन से ही हमें बोला गया होता है कि फेल नहीं होना है, फेल होगा तो नाम खराब होगा. स्पेशली ये डर हमें हमारे पेरेंट्स और टीचर्स से मिलता है, जो उनको उनके पेरेंट्स और टीचर्स से मिला होगा. So I'm not blaming anyone here. All I'm saying कि be it your academic results or be it your professional results. You may be self-employed, you may be employed. Now, if you are someone who has just started your own venture, obviously fear of failure will be at its peak. So allow yourself to fail. Your folks will be scared about what if the business fails, what will people say? Oh my god, मेरे बच्चे ने business चालू किया है, मेरे husband ने चालू किया है, मेरे wife ने चालू किया है. What will people say if it doesn't work? People are going to say anyways, यार. See, until and unless आप किसी में चीज में जीतते नहीं हो तो लोग कुछ ना कुछ तो पूछते रहेंगे. The day you succeed, and obviously you are born to win. I don't want to deviate from the topic, but I'm not saying it just for the sake of saying it. I believe in this. We all are born to win. What matters is believing in ourselves, believing in our capabilities, and allowing ourselves to fail. सो अगर फियर ऑफ फेलियर आता है तो आने दो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता यार, फेल हो गए तो भी चलेगा. You will learn something new, so just understand it, apply it, put it into practice, and move forward. So that's what you need to do. Yeah. तो लोगों के ओपिनियन के तो अब छोड़ो यार, लोगों को ओपिनियन पे सुनो ही मत, राइट? लोगों का काम है कहना, वो कहते रहेंगे. सो उस पे तो अपने को देखना ही नहीं है. Yeah. All right. So the next question is, I always experience fear of unknown, no matter what the circumstances are. Is this a type of mental illness? No, my dear friend, fear is not a mental illness. Fear, as I said, is a natural emotion. वो आपका emotion है, वो आपके feelings है. Connect to your emotions, connect to your feelings, allow yourself to feel fearful. Right? So डर आएगा तो naturally thoughts आएगा. So don't allow yourself to get consumed by those thoughts. There's a big difference between allowing yourself to get consumed by those thoughts and connecting to your fear. Connecting to your fear is just experiencing that feeling. You will experience, heat inside your body. You'll start feeling hot. You may start sweating. Every person has each person has his or her different way of responding to fears. So just connect to that, right? And keep reminding yourself that आपके हाथ में तो सिर्फ परफॉर्मेंस है. You focus on performing. आप सिर्फ अपने काम पे ध्यान दो. आउटकम आपके हाथ में है ही नहीं, राइट? सो फियर ऑफ फेलियर का रूट कॉज तो वही है. वी आर फियरिंग द आउटकम, एंड आउटकम के नीचे का बेस है कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो हमें उसकी पड़ी नहीं है कि हम फेल हो जाएंगे, उसकी पड़ी नहीं है कि व्हाट इज इट दैट वी गोना लर्न. ये थ्री इडियट्स में भी फंक्सुक वांगलोनिया में भी हमें वही सिखाया है कि डर जो होता है, अगर उसको हम कंज्यूम करने देते, कंट्रोल करने देते, तो हम तो बह जाएंगे. लेकिन अगर उस डर को हम पकड़ के ऊपर जाए तो बॉस, यू विल फील, you will actually experience as if you've climbed Mount Everest. और ये मैं झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. So I keep getting nervous before every live talk. Right? वो अभी भी होता है. Very nervous. And I'm talking about it openly. And then I remind myself the same thing, which is I'm here to share my message with the people. My purpose is conscious, authentic, purposeful living. I have to share that message to all those who are watching or who may watch in the future. मैसेज शेयर करने का काम है, और डर जाऊंगा तो मैसेज नहीं शेयर कर पाऊंगा, राइट? सो वही है, फियर इज नॉट अ मेंटल इलनेस. कनेक्ट टू योर फियर, अलाउ योरसेल्फ टू एक्सपीरियंस दैट फियर, एंड रिमाइंड योरसेल्फ टू जस्ट टेक एक्शन एंड कीप मूविंग फॉरवर्ड. दैट्स अबाउट इट. बट अभी मैंने बोला है और आज रात से ही आपको चेंज होगा नहीं. यू नीड टू गिव योरसेल्फ द टाइम एंड स्पेस to understand this point and allow yourself to move forward with the fear. All right, so let me see if there are any questions. Yeah. All right, so let's see if there are any questions. All right, so let's see if there are any questions. I'm just looking online. All right, so sorry for that. Okay, so the next question is, does fear, stress, or anxiety affect our health? Yes, absolutely. Fear impacts our health. The first thing that gets impacted is our breathing, right? So you may have experienced a change in your breathing pattern every time you get anxious. So that is the first side effect, I would say. That is the first side effect or the impact of fear. Um, and why do we feel anxious? We feel anxious because we stop believing in ourselves. When we stop believing in ourselves, stop believing in the process of life, it starts impacting the breathing. Because breathing is nothing but life. So अगर डर है तो breathing impact होगा. The second thing that gets impacted is the mouth, the gut, because if you are eating food, so gut is not just for digesting food, it is also for our uh, ability or inability to digest certain thoughts and feelings. So, gut will definitely get impacted. The second thing you may also experience is um, acidity. Acid reflux too is a result of fear. Right? So, as mentioned above, I think what you need to do is just connect to your fears, understand the root cause of those fears, see how it is impacting your body. So, it may be breathing, it may be acid reflux or acidity, or it could also be digestive disorders. And along with medical assistance, if needed, uh, you can gradually start focusing on embracing your fears. Like I said, fear is a part and parcel of our life. We need to embrace the fears. We need to take charge of the situation and move forward, right? And whenever there's a change in your breathing pattern, understand कि वो breathing pattern का change किसके लिए हो रहा है, किसकी वजह से हो रहा है. Most of the times वो thoughts होते हैं. Anger से भी breathing change होता है, yes. So just understand what is changing that pattern, right? So how can we stop worrying about the future and about the results and just focus on taking action? So वही है यार. I think answer to the question is the same. एक सवाल आपको मैं पूछता हूँ और आप खुद को भी वही सवाल पूछिएगा कि if you are constantly thinking about the outcome, if you're constantly worried about what is going to happen in the future, how is it helping you? आपको मदद कैसी हो रही है उससे, right? So take for instance, say your wife has started a new venture or your husband has started something naya venture. I'm repeating that same example. I want to talk about that because uh, in the last 2 years, quite a few people have started their own venture, which is great. But at the same time, fear of failure is at its peak. Parents are scared about their children. The partners are scared about each other. कि बॉस घर कैसे चलेगा. Again, natural fear है. But my question to you is, how is this fear helping you? Worrying about the future क्या मिल रहा है आपको? फ्यूचर के बारे में सोच के कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला यार. We don't have to think about the future. What are you going to do? फ्यूचर के बारे में सोच के क्या करने वाले हो? मैं भी काफी सोचता था, अभी भी बीच बीच में आता है, बट देन आई कीप आस्किंग माई सेल्फ व्हाट एम आई डूइंग यार. लाइफ को इतना कॉम्प्लिकेट क्यों कर रहा हूँ मैं? व्हाई एम आई कॉम्प्लिकेटिंग माई लाइफ? 2 महीने बाद जो परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल हो रहा है उसकी चिंता अगर आप करके बैठोगे, 3 महीने बाद जो आपका इंक्रीमेंट हो रहा है उसकी चिंता अगर आप अभी करते बैठोगे, तो बॉस वो तो होने ही वाला है. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चिंता यू आर नॉट एबल टू फोकस ऑन योर टास्क एट हैंड और योर प्रोजेक्ट एट हैंड. वो आप फोकस ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो. सो जब आप फोकस नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो आपको वही मिलेगा जो जिसकी चिंता आपको लगी हुई है. So the only way to stop worrying is to bring in that awareness, because whenever you get that awareness, आपकी चिंता रुक जाती है. Because the mind, as I said, it's a very uh, powerful tool. You all know that, but it's also very funny because when you become conscious of your thoughts, when you become conscious of your emotions. You are actually taking charge of the mind, you're taking charge of the situation. एंड फियर का बेसिक मैसेज ही आपको वही है कि टेक चार्ज ऑफ योर लाइफ, टेक चार्ज ऑफ द सिचुएशन. So the next time you feel fearful, the next time you are having unwanted thoughts and constant worrying, just ask yourself this question कि बॉस ये सोच के क्या मिलने वाला है. What is in my hands? अभी इस वक्त मेरे हाथ में सिर्फ परफॉर्म करना है, एक्शन करना है, बाकी जो होगा वो तो मैं बाद में देख लूंगा. As simple as that, guys. As simple as that. ये मैं खुद करता हूँ. मैं डरता भी हूँ, अभी भी डरता हूँ. मैं भी काफ़ी सोचता हूँ. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं कोई कोई संत या साधु हूँ जो डरता नहीं हूँ, जो कांस्टेंट वरी नहीं करता. आई डू, but then I allow myself to be in that situation. I bring in that awareness. I take a step back and I focus on the task at hand. Yeah. So do that. Okay. The next question is, my current job sucks. My supervisor makes my life hell. Keeps yelling at me in front of my team and often puts me down. I have thought of quitting but not sure of the consequences. What should I do? So this question reminds me of the dialogue from the film Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. Where Amrish Puri says, "Ja Simran ja, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी." So मैं आपको यही जवाब दूंगा, right? I mean, if that obnoxious, loud person is making your life hell, then there are no two ways about it, boss. Just quit your job. अगर 2-3 महीने के लिए जॉब नहीं मिला तो भी चलेगा, right? I know, easier said than done. EMIs होते हैं. We have a lot of responsibilities, but I can say that because I quit my well-paying job in 2019 for starting something of my own. Of course, reasons वो नहीं थे जो इस क्वेश्चन में लिखे हैं. Reasons थे because I realized that my calling was something else. So I moved out of my comfort zone and started something of my own. Going back to your question, if someone is making your life hell, and if you're still staying there because you need to pay your EMIs, you need to take responsibilities, then boss, you are actually ruining your life and the lives of your people, because आप उस इंसान पे तो गुस्सा नहीं निकाल पाओगे. You have a fear of failure, which is why you're not moving out, and आप गुस्सा अपने घर वालों पे निकालोगे, so you're making their life hell as well. So gather courage, muster that courage, बनो आगे. वो बोलते हैं ना, धीट बनो और आगे बढ़ो. Because if you stay in that same toxic place, you are disrespecting yourself. And for you to be successful in life, the first thing that you need to do is think about yourself and respect yourself, boss. That is the most important thing you need to do. So, no two ways about it. My response would be, in this case, quit your job. Start looking out for a new job. Quit your job and move on in life. Right? And most importantly, every day, every minute, every second, respect yourself. इससे क्या होगा कि in the future, you will not allow your supervisors or anyone to disrespect you. Yeah? So no two ways about it, boss. If it's the question of your self-respect, just move on. Okay. Next question. ये भी थोड़ा fear से connected है, but not directly, but I will still take it. People around me are more successful. My friends are progressing faster than me. They have achieved a lot in a short span. When will my time come? Is this my jealousy? Is it wrong to feel this way? When will I achieve my goals? I feel depressed when I get this feeling. How to deal with it? Again, so I'm a filmy buff, so you can expect these dialogues or these advertisement का jingles बीच बीच में. So भला मेरी कमीज उसके कमीज से सफेद कैसे? And then you have this Akashvani that says, उसके पास ऋण है, आपके पास क्या है? Now, just going back to that question, just kidding. It is quite natural for us to feel insecure. It is quite natural for us to feel jealous. Again, like any other emotion, don't allow your jealousy, don't allow your insecurity to take charge of your life. मत दो. What you need to do is, in this case, obviously fear तो आपको आ ही जाएगा, because if you are thinking about what this person has and what you don't have, you're obviously feeling anxious, you're feeling angry, not about the other person, but angry with yourself. Stop doing that. Tell yourself that it's fine to feel jealous, but most importantly, appreciate yourself for what you've done so far. Appreciate your efforts, na Baba? And also appreciate efforts of the other person. एंड जैसे रणवीर सिंह ने कहा है कि अपना टाइम आएगा, एंड बिलीव मी फ्रेंड्स, वो आएगा. हर एक का टाइम आता है और वो आना ही है. सी, वी आर हियर ऑन दिस प्लैनेट फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर रीजन. वी नीड टू जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दैट रीजन. यार, तुमको मर्सिडीज चाहिए, तुमको मर्सिडीज मिलेगा ना. मे बी आज नहीं है, 2 साल के बाद मिलेगा, लेकिन मिलेगा ना. यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट वॉट यू वॉन्ट, बट योर फोकस नीड्स टू बी ऑन yourself, needs to be on your purpose, and needs to be on the project or task that is at hand. So, as I said, this question is not directly linked to fear of failure, but there is a connection, because when we are thinking about, or when we are comparing ourselves to others, we are disrespecting ourselves, we are feeling anxious, we feel fearful. मेरी लाइफ में कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है. अरे बॉस, जो हो रहा है वो आप देख ही नहीं रहे हो. ये खुद को भी बोलता हूँ. एट टाइम्स इवन आई कीप सेइंग, अरे क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. बट मैं वो नहीं देख रहा हूँ जो मैं कर रहा हूँ. So, the next time you feel or you face the situation, allow yourself to be in that situation. I will keep repeating this statement because emotions hote hain, and we need to connect to our emotions. And then remind yourself, why are you here on this planet? Right? वही करना है आपको, और कुछ नहीं करना है. Yeah? And it's okay यार. It's okay to feel bad. See, जितना कंपेयर करोगे दुख होगा अपने आप को, आपको दुख होगा. So maybe the thing that you need to stop doing is stop comparing yourself. Appreciate yourself, right? We look for appreciation from outside. नहीं यार, पहले खुद को appreciation देना है. Give yourself a pat on the back for all that you've done so far. लोग आपको देंगे. Yeah? Remember Ranveer Baba's statement or that song, अपना टाइम आएगा. और ये मैं बोलने के लिए बोल नहीं रहा हूँ. I'm not saying it just for the sake of saying it. I'm saying it because I believe in this. I've experienced it, and many of the people around me have also experienced it. So, just focus on doing what you're doing, appreciate yourself, appreciate efforts of the other person, and move on in life. Yeah. And my last question is, I always keep procrastinating the tasks. Is it a sign of anxiety or fear? Okay, so procrastination के 3 reasons होते हैं. एक, वी हैव नो क्लू अबाउट द टास्क और प्रोजेक्ट एट हैंड, तो हम वो नहीं करते. सेकेंड, वी फाइंड इट डिफिकल्ट और हार्ड टू क्रैक, सो हम नहीं करते. एंड थर्ड, एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एंड द मोस्ट कॉमन रीजन फॉर प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन इज fear of failure. So fear of failure, fear of being judged or fear of failure is the root cause, is the most common root cause of procrastination. So if you have a habit of procrastinating, try to understand your reason behind it. Are you procrastinating because you have a fear of failure, or you procrastinating because you don't know what it is about, right? और उसके बाद आपका fear of authority भी आएगा, because if you don't understand, ये मेरे साथ काफी होता था. I used to procrastinate my tasks, yeah, because I had along with fear of failure, I also had fear of authority. सो आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस टू माय सुपीरियर्स वाज ओ माय गॉड, अगर मैं पूछूंगा तो क्या बोलेंगे, तो फियर ऑफ जजमेंट भी आ गया। तो पूरा प्रोक्रास्टिनेशन का जो पैकेज होता है ना, वो डर के साथ ही आता है, राइट? सो आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो आप क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ रहे हो, क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ रहे हो, आप काम कर रहे हो, एंड यू डिसाइड टू कीप इट असाइड। बट उससे क्या होता है, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन से एक चीज होती है विच ऑफ कोर्स यू मे हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड, इज वो चीज वापस अपने पास आती है, और जब आती है ना बॉस, तो इट कम्स विद दैट अर्जेंट टैग, वो अर्जेंसी का टैग लेके आती है, और तभी अपनी पूरी तरह से बैंड बच जाती है। सो देन द फियर ऑफ फेलियर अगेन इज एट इट्स पीक। So the next time you want to procrastinate something or push certain tasks or projects, ask yourself, why are you doing this? What is that fear? What is that thought that is stopping you from taking action? बस लाइफ में ना एक्शन लेना ही सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। अगर एक्शन नहीं लोगे तो not taking action is also an action, but you're not going to get anything, right? So you might as well take action, allow yourself to fail, learn from that failure, and move on. सो फियर ऑफ फेलियर का आपको वही करना है बॉस, वो कोई भी फियर हो, राइट? कनेक्ट टू योर फियर, अलाउ योरसेल्फ टू फेल, put learn from those failures, and put those learnings into practice and move on in life, right? फियर को दिमाग में डाल के ना अपन ने लाइफ को बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेट कर दिया है यार। आई मीन डजंट, वी डोंट हैव टू कॉम्प्लिकेट आवर लाइफ सो मच। लाइफ इज ब्यूटिफुल, you have to remember just one thing, that you matter and your views matter। डर है, डर को समझो, टेक बेबी स्टेप्स, छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स, वन स्टेप अ डे और वन स्टेप अ वीक, आपके ऊपर है, बट लो। इवन इफ यू डू एबल टू डू वन थिंग टू एड्रेस योर फियर, यू विल फील डिफरेंट, यू विल फील बेटर, बिलीव मी। करो आप, या। सो जस्ट टू डू just for recapping, whenever there is a fearful thought, fear of failure ho, fear of judged ho, fear of being judged ho, fear of being rejected ho, connect to that feeling, connect to that, experience that feeling, allow yourself to be in that fear, and then slowly get yourself out of that situation, take charge of that situation, learn to address the fear, learn to address the situation that you have not yet addressed, and don't let yourself get consumed by the thoughts, fearful thoughts, राइट? इंटेंसिटी जो होती है उसको अपने को कंट्रोल करना है, फियर को कंट्रोल नहीं करना है, राइट? सो वही करना है। And with that, we come to an end to this AMA. I hope you found it relevant. I hope you found it useful. If you have any further questions with respect to fear of being judged or fear of failure, feel free to message me on LinkedIn or Facebook. You could also write to me on akshaym@samakshwellness.com, or message me on 97698 69902. Yeah. So I will again leave you with these two thoughts. Remember to focus on your performance. Remember to focus on your actions. That's the only thing you can control. Outcome आपके हाथ में है नहीं, तो outcome के बारे में सोचो भी मत. Yeah. And train your mind to embrace your fears. Take charge of the situation. Take charge of your life. That's it. और कुछ नहीं करना है. Right? So I will see you again next week with another topic. So that will also be, I typically like this format, AMA format. So it will be AMA with AKKI, and the topic is mastering the art of conflict resolution. All right. So good night and have a great weekend. Enjoy. And yes, happy Easter in advance. Take care. Bye bye.